Yeah.
Well, Stuart, fantastic win today at home, 2-1 win. What are your thoughts on today's game?
Yeah, obviously we're delighted with the win, but the two go hand in hand really, and we're delighted with the performance of the players. Each and every one of them put a proper shift in today. Out of possession, I thought they worked their socks off for each other, and in possession is probably the best we've been this year in possession against a really good Leiston side, so really pleased.
As you say, really good Leiston side. I think they're sitting 5th in the table. They were before today's performance. Obviously we've had a couple of mixed results in the league. Last 2 weeks have been cup games. Back into the league, it must be really encouraging for you and Ian to play a team that are in 5th in the league after a couple of poor performances in the league. As I say, you must be delighted by that.
Yeah, I mean, our cup performances in the last couple of weeks have been decent, but as we've said before, our bread and butter is the league, and we're finding our feet in this league as each year goes by, and Leiston are a bit of a benchmark for us. We played them twice last year, and they're a really good, strong side, and we've got a belief in our camp that we can get better. We've assembled a squad now that we believe can really compete well in this league, and today was a benchmark for us, and I would imagine that Leiston are a decent side. They're probably a little bit disappointed with how they played, but I think that's a credit to us because I think we made them look an average side today, and from our point of view, that's where we want to be. We want to put ourselves in positions to win games, and there's been a lot of tight games recently, and we've come out on the wrong side of them, playing well or not playing well. They're still tight games, and today we've played really well against the top side, and we've come out on the right result of a tight game.
We have to talk about it. There was a big incident close to the end of the game. Gary Elphick got a straight red. What were yours and Chapper's thoughts on that decision?
Yeah, obviously we're going to try and have a look at it again. My first thoughts were that in today's football you've got to be very careful, but my first thoughts were that both Gary's feet were, the bottom of his feet were on the floor, and although his studs may have been showing, it's a slippy surface out there, and he's completely gone for the ball, and he's won the ball. And anyone knows Gary. He's as hard as nails, but he's as honest as a day is long, and he wouldn't have had no intent at all to go out and injure anyone like that. What I would say is, unfortunately, the rules of today, they don't help referees or players. And so, listen, I'm in the Defenders Union. I think it was a perfectly good tackle, but I'd have to see it again before we know. But I do think, looking at it on first thoughts without seeing it again, it was quite harsh, but we'll see.
There was a decision that probably could have gone against them, which was very similar in the second half on the edge of the box against Lucas. A lot of people were saying there was no difference between the two tackles. Did you have an opinion on that?
Again, it was right on the other side, so it was a little bit far away for me to see exactly. But all we ask, and I'm sure refs themselves and officials themselves, is we ask them to be consistent. It was too far away for me to have a great view of it to comment on that. But what I would say is, if they were similar, then you just ask officials to be consistent with it. And today that one's gone against us, and like I say, Gary's a massive player for us. He's been really important since he's come in, and it'll be a real shame, if he does end up missing games on what I think is a genuinely good, strong tackle. But like I say, we'd have to see it again to see what happens with it. And if it does happen that he has to miss games, we'll have to regroup and go without him, which is something that we've got to learn as a group of players.
Just one last thing. We spoke to Chappers after the last home game about Tony Garrett. Again, Tony was warming up today. Any news on his recovery?
Yeah, I mean, like a lot of players, Tony's going to be a real important player for us. He's part of the squad that we've assembled. Unfortunately, he's had a few injury problems as the season's gone on, and the injuries that he had have been niggles, and we've brought him back, and then it's put him back 2 weeks. So we're trying to err on the side of caution a little bit with him this time to get him, make sure he's properly fit before he comes back in. But that would be a huge plus for us with him coming back as well, leading the line. But we just got to make sure when he comes back this time, he's back for a sustained amount of time rather than getting him back for 1 or 2 and then he's missing 3 or 4. So it's not easy to do in non-league football because players are off doing their jobs and what have you, and you only get them for a limited amount of time. So along with obviously Kevin, the physio, and Tony looking after himself, we're trying to get him back so that when he's back firing on all cylinders, and he's back for a long term.
We also saw Brandon this side of the fence today. Is he close to coming back?
Yeah, big Brandon's had his problems as well. He's had a bit of illness, and then I think he's had a hamstring problem. But he was back sort of training on Thursday night, just doing a bit of light stuff. So he's another one that will come back into the squad as well. So yeah, at the moment the squad's looking all right, but it always looks a lot better when you've had a result on a Saturday afternoon.
Absolutely. Well, you've got Tooting and Mitcham away on Tuesday, and then Hendon, I believe, in the Cup. So we wish you well in both those games, and hopefully next time we talk again, another victory.
Thanks, Carl. Really appreciate it.
Cheers,
Thank
Stuart.
you. Cheers.